I gotta confess that when I first heard about this whole idea of the Avatar movie being a horror things for the Navis, it kind of blew my mind by thinking on the way that it actually sounds not only real but also terrifying when you put yourself into the Navi's shoes and think of the Navis as your own species and the humans as the creepy aliens. But let's think about that a little bit so you can see it in the way I did. First, the humans in this video will always be considered as the little alien creatures, and the Navis as our own kind. So starting from this point, we have to consider too many things, but among the most important, the place where you live, where you have your pretty family and a huge and very united society around the whole planet. You basically are living in a very perfect kind of paradise. I mean, there are some risks out there, but as long as everyone is aware of them and are perfectly capable to deal with it, it still is a paradise, but we're a natural balance. But then one day, as we saw in the second movie, when you were admiring the night sky with your children, maybe philosophizing about life and family with them, you see that one of the stars in the sky is unnaturally brighter than it used to be, or even somewhere where you've never seen a star before. So you're trying to explain that to your children. It's just a natural sky mystery, because after all, your knowledge about it is not very extensive. But here's where the creepy thing began. Because only a few days later, you finally see some very strange and little creatures as the same size of your children, but wearing very rare clothes, while some of them are holding things that you have no idea what they are for. But it's very curious as the way they look around, pointing with those things. So at least, at first, you don't really freak so much or even fear those little creatures, as long as they keep their distance, especially from your children, and not one bother the other. And when you thought that it wasn't really a big deal or something to take much care of, these little creatures start invading your community. And not only walking inside without permission, but literally destroying all the environment of your land. With some very giant animals that have no feet and left a plain straight path right behind them. So you thought that it was about time to defend everything you know by fighting back those things. But then you see some different kind of creature, one that is bigger than the other little one you saw before. And you can't somehow see through them, where it is located one of those little ones instead of the bigger one. Something that, it doesn't freak you out enough yet, you see one of your own kind falling down by one of them, after hearing some loud noises followed by a very strong pain in your waist. And a bunch of those creatures, the big and the little ones, tugging everything around and killing everyone of your own kind that is done in their way. So you finally decide to run away from there, taking your family and everything you can with you, looking for a known and bigger community that have lion creatures expecting for protection. And after being welcomed inside, you decide to become a warrior to be part of the defenses of that same community. And when apparently everything was going so well and you thought that it was a very good second chance to thank for, some warriors returned from patrolling the surrounding area and mentioned that they saw a few of your own kind walking alongside with little creatures and wearing their strange clothes, even communicating to each other like if it was the most natural thing. So yes, just imagine you see something like that here on Earth, something that we call Skinwalker. But at least being a Navi, you still don't know it. So instead, you think that maybe those Navis were somehow working along with the little creatures, something that seems harmless as they don't seem to be a threat to these Navis. And everything goes so well for some time, until one day, while you and some other warriors went to patrol the area, find a very strange kind of a house in the middle of the jungle. And given your distance, you see some of your own kind inside of it, and after considering too many things but not making contact yet, you and the other warriors decide to advise the community about it. But not too long after that, some of those strange Navis got captured by the community warriors. And even looking similar, it seems they struggle communicating to the rest of the Navis. But not only that, for some reason, these strange Navis also have an extra finger. So from this point, you don't trust them at all. But they don't seem to be a threat as the little creatures were before. And after allowing them to keep their house in the middle of the jungle by the community leader, those strange Navis start collecting children to apparently teach them their language and more about some alien knowledge. But while all of this was happening, in so many other areas, the giant creatures were still destroying everything on their way, and even attacking so many other Navi communities. So while these strange Navis were incapable to explain any of that, your community decided to go to communication. And we all know what happened to some children that decided to attack that same house in the middle of the jungle, since some of them survived to be part of the main characters in the first movie. And it wasn't until a very long time that one of those strange navies finally explained that these little alien creatures were only interested in a very valuable source located underground, and were capable to do literally anything to get it, and in cold blood. We also know that these little creatures were also interested in another substance located in the brain of some local whales, but it seems the navies never know about that. So connecting all the details in this vanquish of Avatar, we have alien invasion, skinwalkers, exploitation of resources at all cost, devastation of communities, and genocide. So from the Navi's perspective, it of course looked like a terrible movie. But what is very strange, or at least it was for me, is that from this point of view, being the humans in this story, it just looked like a sci-fi action movie with some terrible military economical decisions, yes, but that doesn't make me feel more than a little bit uncomfortable with it. I wouldn't be capable to do anything about it even if I wanted, right? Well, we can't even imagine what would it be if it were instead part of the navies. But I don't know. What do you think that would have been for you with all that happened in this story if you were a Navi? I'd like to know your opinion in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. I'm the Dark Agent, and I'll see you again.